Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's SIG Autoscaling weekly meeting. Thursday, December 11th. SIG Autoscaling is part of Kubernetes and the CNCF, and we abide by the code of conduct. So thank you in advance for being excellent to one another. Looks like today we have it looks like today we have no agenda. So let me pause and allow for folks to change that ad hoc. Is there any ad hoc agenda items? So for any new folks, you can always go to the link. The doc is public, and paste your agenda items in advance in the doc. There should be no restrictions. Let us know if you have trouble. Cool. I can make a couple of just housekeeping announcements. Adrian and I have been working on 135 integrations to Cluster Autoscaler and VPA, and I think those are going well. Does that sound familiar to you, Adrian, from the VPA side?
Sorry, what's that in connection with?
The 135, moving 130 Kubernetes 135 libraries into VPA.
Oh, I
I
see.
noticed
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
work on that.
correct. Yeah, I'm working on that. That reminds me. I have a question, and we don't necessarily need to answer it now. Um, and it's related to that. What's best practice instead in terms of using upstream Kubernetes libraries? Should we bump master to the betas and release candidates prior to cutting a release? To make sure we're testing and developing against those new versions, or do we wait until the release is cut and then update, or choose your own adventure? Like
I
the
think
process.
historically it's been a mix. My vote is definitely for the former. So as soon as there's an official alpha, um, I would vote. Let's get that in to get some mileage on that. In in my experience, the delta between the first alpha and the eventual release is fairly small. So you get the vast majority of uh, the stuff, and I don't want to say all, but basically all breaking changes that go in are subject to scrutiny in Kubernetes, and so those are going to be in that first alpha.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you know, if we're doing our jobs well, then we know about those ahead of time. So we had a few things in DRA, maybe had some things in VPA. So I was already queued up when I pulled that in. I knew it was going to be breaking and set aside some cycles to deal with that.
I found so far, well, I think VPA's interaction with Kubernetes is very limited. I think the biggest change we've had in recent history is the work Max and John did to add in place. But I think
Yeah.
our interaction is very, very limited. So I don't expect many breaking things over time. But I think we need to figure out a pattern that works for VPA and follow it.
Yeah, there might be some interesting things coming forward. This is just conversation as
Yeah.
the workload API evolves and things like gang scheduling. So you have like sets of workloads. So maybe there's
Yeah.
some interesting VPA stories that folks will want.
Yeah. Cool. So sorry to interrupt you. You were talking
No,
about some
that's it. So yeah,
housekeeping.
I think we're in good shape to cut a 135. Um, Hopefully by the end of December. Really, realistically for me, I'm going to be taking off for a couple weeks. I think on the 19th, which I think is just a few days after the Kubernetes release. So I will prioritize taking a shot at that, but we'll also be paying attention to the PRQ. There might be folks who have some changes that they really want in for the 135 release, in which case um, things will go dark for a couple weeks and we may cut our cluster autoscaler 135 at the beginning of the new year. And Adrian, as you say, um, there's probably not much that pins you to the 135 release date from Kubernetes in terms of cutting a VPA release. So
Yeah, I think what I don't think we've written this down, but I think what we should try and do is soon after, and not committing to a certain time frame, but sometime soon after the 1.35 well, after a Kubernetes release, we hope to release a VPA version. I
yeah,
think that's what we should strive for and figure that out.
I think that's the best customer ergonomics, even if it doesn't strictly make a ton of engineering sense. It just makes lives easier for customers because that's the expectation across the ecosystem is new Kubernetes release. Let me go get the new version that is compatible with the new version of Kubernetes. So I think you just make everybody's lives easier by doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking notes, Mike. Uh, any final thoughts before we wrap up a super brief one?
Another housekeeping question. In 2 weeks' time, this lands on the 25th of December, which I'm assuming most people will have off. and then a week after that will be January the 1st, which I'm also assuming most people have off. So do we want to decide on which days we aren't meeting and write them down on the agenda?
Yes, I would vote for taking those 2 weeks off, and seeing everyone back. I guess that would make it the 8th of January in the new year. And wish everybody a happy new year.
Cool.
Are there any
If we're all in
objections to
agreement,
that?
it means one more meeting that we have next week, and then 2 weeks break.
I think that sounds great to me. All right. Anybody else have anything?
I just had a small follow-up. I've been working on the AWS SDK upgrade for the
Yeah.
AWS cloud provider. Um, I I just wanted to make noise about it because I know we're sort of switching away from like the vendoring the package, or at least leaning towards switching away from vendoring the package to having it like directly included in the Go mod. I'm pretty sure that PR should be up to date, and I think Jack, you had mentioned yesterday like updating the Brightbox provider that was also relying on the V1 SDK. That should be done. So I just wanted to again like raise to the broader audience that like that's in progress, and if there's any like concerns like historically from the way the autoscaler was managed, just because I don't have a lot of the historical insights some of the other folks do, that would like lead to not wanting to vendor stuff to um yeah, let me know. I'm happy to adjust as needed.
Yeah, cool. It certainly makes maintenance a lot easier. The static vendoring just has a significant manual maintenance cost going forward. So super appreciate you doing this work. Great for the health of the code base.
Yeah, absolutely. And whatever like path to merging or whatever, yeah, around to support. But yeah.
Okay, cool. I recall it merging yesterday, so if it didn't, I'll go look at it right after this, and it'll merge soon. Maybe I didn't do the right things.
I was just going to ask Dominic, what's your Slack handle, just so I could put it in the notes in case someone wanted to reach out to you or whatever.
Yeah, on the Kubernetes Slack, I think I'm Dom-Bizzuto, but I could check. I'm not super active there. So let me I could link it in the notes immediately as soon as I could find it.
All right, cool. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just put that in there for now, and then you can yeah, update it later. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, your first PR merged yesterday, so I'll look at the second one. The second one's ready to go, Dominic?
I yeah, I think so. I'll take a look this right now just to double check because I think it should just be the one actually that was the um uh like replacing the library with the non-vendored copy. I'll
Yeah.
need a follow-up one to like actually remove the V1 SDK library, but I was gonna create that separately. Just so like the removal of like 2000 files didn't clutter the business logic of the first one.
Yeah, no, so that I think that one is ready. That one should be ready. So the your consume AWS SDK v2 PR has landed, which is great. Thank you so much. So yeah, if you want to rebase the removal PR on top of that, I'll look at that right away. That should be easy to
Okay,
review.
perfect. Yeah, I'll I could either I as soon as I do that I could just leave a link in the agenda here and I could also just CC you on the PR.
Cool. Beautiful.
Okay. Thanks, y'all.
All right. Going once, going twice. Everybody gear up for some relaxation. It's the only time of the year, really. All right. See everybody. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Jack. Have a good one.